I'm ranking every single fragrance that I own, and this time it's Molinard Figue. It's a fragrance that I bought a couple of years ago, and let's see how it smells. So right off the bat, it smells citrusy, I think bergamot. It has a bit of a floral scent to it, but underneath it, it has some milkiness, some coconutty milkiness actually. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was aldehyde C18 or undecalactone, for example. It certainly has quite a bit of greenness to it. It has a bit of a marine vibe, and it's definitely green, floral, with a slight milky undertone. And the fun part is, a couple of years ago, when I just started smelling it, it really did smell like a fig. Now, the more time passes, the more I smell this on myself, I start picking up the different aspects of it, and it starts smelling less and less like an actual fig, which is one of my favorite fruits, and that's exactly why I bought this fragrance. About 40 minutes in, the fragrance mellows out quite a bit. It starts to smell a lot more like coconut, the citruses are basically gone, the feeling is of like a green stem-like, the actual molecule that I can pick up here is probably stemone, and on top of it there's a marine-like smell, which is probably ambroxan or cetylox or something like that, the ambergris-like molecules, and that basically makes this smell fresh, nice, fruity, airy, quite Mediterranean, I would say. But now, which is like 10 minutes after spray, I think I pick up some of that muskiness as well. And at that point I did get a comment that the fragrance smells interesting. The person did know that I am testing a fragrance, so there's that, but nevertheless they did find it to be somewhat unique. And I would agree with that. It certainly smells unlike a lot of other fragrances, and it's a pretty good summer freshy, you could say. It reminds me of back in the day when I was spending a lot of the time in Crimea as a child, and we used to eat lots of figs. At 3 hours in, it basically becomes a skin scent. I can still feel the coconut smell. It's still slightly fruity, slightly green, but mainly what I smell here is a clean, fluffy, musky vibe with this coconut, and definitely a bit of a metallic marine smell. Ambroxan probably. At that point it's still pleasant, you get a bit of sillage there, like I can get some whiffs in the air still, but it's, not particularly impressive in any way. At 6 hours in, strength-wise it becomes like a 1 out of 10, and it's still pleasant. It still smells slightly tropical, musky, marine-like. All of these facets, they're still kind of there, but they're incredibly faint. And I can still get some whiffs, but that's probably because when I apply it to myself, I did like 5 sprays, like 2 sprays on one head, 2 another, and then 1 at the back of my head. And probably that's the part that still smells, right? It's still on my hair and it just projects a bit longer. It evaporates for a longer time. And at the very evening, like 8 to 12 hours in, it's basically just the musk. It does smell clean. It does have like a habanalide, an ethylene brassylate vibe. It has slight fruitiness to it, but basically not much else. So in general, the fragrance is alright. The projection, the longevity is moderate. It doesn't last too long at all. It definitely has its place. It smells great during spring, during summer, and I would wear it a lot more. Within these 2 years I've been wearing it like 10 to 20 times, not much more at all. It's just that I have a lot more interesting fragrances, a lot more expensive ones that I want to use up much more than this. But it is, for the price, I think a really good deal. So if you don't want something that's super designery, like it doesn't smell like a perfumey perfume, like that soapy vibe, that super sharp smell that you get in these Sephora's, Douglas's, Drogas, whatever, right? It doesn't smell that way. But it also doesn't smell super niche. It has a nice balance there, and that's something to be admired. I like it when it has a good balance between being approachable, between being nice, and then kind of it's not exactly what you would smell everywhere. So ranking wise, where does it go? I think that this quite easily occupies the C tier. You may ask me why? Well, it's definitely not S tier. It doesn't blow me off my socks. At A tier, I expect something that's super solid, super unique, has the longevity, it's a 9 out of 10 for me. This is not a 9 out of 10 for me. The fragrances at B tier are the ones that I still want to really hold on to if I had to give them away. At C tier, they're okay, they're good, but I would be okay with losing them, right? And this, I would be okay with losing it. I wouldn't cry or feel super bad if I lost this fragrance. Maybe next time I'll do something dirty.